So if you're having a hard time being profitable, maybe you're not pricing accurately. And I wanted to walk you through a couple of examples and see if any of this rings true for you, because it may be a simple fix that you can adjust on the back end, and it may be something else. But if you don't have a diagnostic tool, how are you going to know? Otherwise, it's just guesswork. So come on with me. I want to give you an example here of the net profit pricing method. In this particular one, what we're doing is we're taking this small company and we're going to figure the overhead. And so in this overhead, you'll notice here I put a test expense in here. And the reason I've done that is I realized that when I was pricing my jobs over here, I actually have 2 people figured for my change outs, but in reality, it's just me and a helper, and my helper is not profitable. He's just basically extra wages. Now, this is going to blow your mind. We added this little tab over here for the helper. And so let's say, for example, first of all, don't be overwhelmed by all this stuff. Just follow with me here. There's $25 if I pay this gentleman hourly for a 40-hour week at 2,000 hours, because even though there's 2,080 work hours in a year, I'm figuring a 40-hour week, or 5 days, I'm gonna give him vacation, and 5 days I'm gonna give him on holidays. So $35 an hour times the whole year for 2,080 hours means that he's going to earn about $52,000. But here's the challenge. If that's what you're using to figure your pricing with, you may be missing, because we have something called burden. So your burden rate, basically, remember those 5 paid holidays and those 5 vacation days? You can actually calculate those to $1 per hour along with your other overhead burden, your other labor burden. Sorry about that. So an example of that is workers' compensation. Do you pay workers' compensation? Should you be calculating that into your pricing? What about matching taxes like Social Security? What is your burden? And then 2, what about inefficiencies and whatnot? Because we have to pay them even when they're not billable and even when they're not efficient. So come on back and let's look at this. In this case, I'm paying him $52,000, and real numbers, guys, he's costing me $69,160. So in this example here, follow me here, I have $33.25 figured for a helper on my change outs. Now, if back over on my change outs, I also figure some downtime, maybe I'm not worried based on the $30 plus the, let's see here, he is actually 25. So in this case, let's adjust this. Oops, wrong one. So if he's $25, then I'm basically needing to cover his time, not just his efficiency time, but his inefficiency time. I'm only doing change outs about 15% of my billable year, because I'm only doing about 3 a month in this example, because this is a small company, right? I'm a one-man operation. So I would actually figure my true labor that I have built into each of those change outs. In this case, even though I'm paying him, or he's costing me $33.25, I've got a 50% calculation of inefficiency built in to all my pricing. So I would actually double that. So he's costing me I'm paying him 33, he's costing me $33.25, but I've got set aside double that. So that would be $66.50, which is great. Now, all of a sudden, if I'm paying, he's generating 8 hours worth of work, basically 36 jobs a year or 3 times a month on a change out. At this rate, he's generating $19,152 towards his pay. And That's great, but we're still, if we back that out of what he's costing me, we still have to make up $50,008 in this case. So if I can't send him out on a service call because he's too green, I can't send him on maintenance because he's either too green or I don't have enough, or commercial work, then that's really all he can generate for me. So he becomes not 100% burden of 69,160, but pretty close. Okay, so that $50,000 needs to go somewhere. And so that's why when I came in, let me go back over here to the overhead. That's why I put this in here. I'm saying, well, what if I hire a helper? Because I can only bill for him, those 36 change outs per year, but the rest of the time he's just handing me parts. And so I'd have to build that into my overhead of $186,000, come back over here to my overhead, and looks like these numbers don't sync, but I would make sure that that's $186,000 so that I can see if what it's going to cost me in order to carry him. So in this case, if I'm doing this change out with $6,200 worth of equipment, I've got my sales tax in there, a little bit of contingency. I'm going to take that subcontractor out for this case, sales tax at 8%. And I'm going to figure out, based on the task pay, just what we're paying these guys. And there's a manual override for that one that we'll talk about on another thing. But these are all my different scenarios. My main takeaway here is this is my break even. And I think the interesting thing is I've got $3,000 worth of overhead on that job. And for a one-man operation, basically, that's high because I'm carrying this guy. Can I charge $13,800 or $13,900 basically in order to earn the 20% net that I'm targeting? And I mean, if you do 20% net, maybe you do 10, but still, can I get this amount? Because the first thing that's coming out, when the financing company lends your customer this amount, they're going to hold back this amount and they're going to deposit what's left over in your bank account. So you kind of have to be starting from this number. And even if you don't do financing, you need to be doing whatever your 0.035, whatever your credit card rate is. So in this case, the credit card company is going to hold back $425 for their cut if they put this on their card. And then this amount's what actually arrives at my bank account based on the 10% net. And so this is just one example. So our overhead is really important here. We do have to do things like, what about advertising? Are you figuring advertising in there? A lot of people just aren't. What about paying an office person? I mean, we have to account for every dollar. Look, this tool is wonderful for creating your price books. And I'll show you real quick is what that might look like. So this is an actual template that we've got where this price book you can actually import and put this price book in place. And I love this, and I'll show you why. Let's say that you've got a 2-ton, 14, 16, 18, and 20 SEER. Instead of just giving them one option, let's say the customer's interested in the bronze. So when you click on the bronze, it should bring up a separate option chart, which gives you your bronze basic, basically just the El Cheapo, the minimum you can put it in for, and then your good, better, and best based on what you're including. Maybe you have a 3-year extended warranty here plus maintenance. Maybe you have a 5-year here and a 10-year here. You actually take the cost of that, you build it into your price, and you give the customer a choice, right? Do you want $151 a month, $290 a month? This here's 10 years, you can't write a check because we've got you covered. And these areas down here are a really good opportunity to help you differentiate your company and make it less about the product and more about your company and the value that you're bringing with this installation, because even though homeowners don't understand that, that is really important. So I wanted to come back to the price book, as I mentioned there, because this is really key. Whether it's on your service rate, which by the way would be this next one over here, when you're figuring out this $15 part, I mean, what is your break even? What is your break even if you're spending an hour, that truck's an hour on the job, and you're paying a technician an hour to do that repair? What does that look like? Task pay, hourly. And hourly means that you're basically building in the technician's entire year in, and you're going to have to divide that by your billable service costs. And so these are indicators that are going to tell you, okay, if I'm shooting for a net profit on, let's just say 30% net on my repairs, that's $127 profit to come out and do, a repair. I mean, that's not a tremendous amount in dollars, but percentage wise, it's pretty good. But service tends to be a little high in overhead. So what we're discovering is there's all these different things that can make you unprofitable based on how your company's pricing is distributed, how your overhead is distributed. The big one is, are you accounting for everything? And the really big one that comes back to bite you, like you saw on that helper, is labor. Because if you're paying a technician for 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, and you see what that burden pay actually does, and I'll show you what that looks like real quick. If I have my service technician, in this case, he's making $30 an hour for this example. My workers' comp rate, my matching taxes, vacation, holidays, sick days, if I have some other benefits, and then plus an inefficiency factor, well, I'm paying him $30 in this case, but he's costing me $39.90, right? That's a 33% burden, which is why we have these types of burdens in here, 34% in this case, but it depends on your numbers and your situation. Guys, this is a powerful diagnostic tool, okay? It's part of the net profit pricing system. You own it, right? It's spreadsheet based, so it's really easy to use and move stuff around. And if you want, Pete will come in, sit with you, we'll go through your numbers, and we'll make sure you know exactly where you need to be on your pricing and set the calculator up exactly right so that your overhead is distributed in a way that matches the economy's established numbers that are out there, so that you're not like out of whack on your change outs or on your service calls. If you're running into these price challenges, this could be the problem. If your customers are saying you're way too high, you're way out of line, this could be the problem. So come on in. I'll put a link in the description down at the bottom if you want to jump right in and do that. If you think you can handle this on your own, I'll put a discount code in there for you. If you want Pete to help you, then shoot me an email before you actually invest in this, and I'll explain how to do that. But it typically takes two 2-hour workshops that you and I sit down and we go through your numbers, and we look at at how many service calls, how many change outs you tend to do historically, what your average tickets are, what the market will bear in terms of price, and just see what you got to do to stay profitable in your pricing. There's other things you can do, but in terms of this as a separate challenge, you got to have your numbers right. I've not seen anybody get this right out there. Your gross margin method is nothing but one big old guess. In these days, you cannot guess. The dual overhead, where you're marking up your part at some rate based on what the amount, and then your labor is a different markup. Guys, you need to affix your overhead to the one constant, and that is labor. Don't go marking up your parts and expect that to be matching part of your overhead unless you're really consistent on on your parts historically. You're always buying the same amount of parts. You're always buying the same amount of equipment in terms of proportion to the job. In most of the cases, that's not the case, okay? So come join Pete on that. Also, we're coming up with the announcement on the Academy of HVAC Greatness. This program will be the basic version will be part of that program on a membership dues. I think we're going to establish the price at $97 a year. So you'll have access to a bunch of this training nonstop at your convenience, as well as a community. You can step in and ask questions, and nobody will make fun. That's not allowed. We'll help you. Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. See you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.